Over the last few weeks, I have been focused on making little charms and dangles that I can use with my different Halloween projects, and I've been sharing those with you how to make them. So in today's video, I want to go through all of the little charms that I've made and then share with you some ways that you can actually use these as well. So let's go back, and originally I was sharing with you these little paperclip covered pieces that I made, and that was really the main focus of the video, and then also adding little charms and bits to the bottom of the paperclip. And here we have the little words that we can add using the different tools that we have and all the charms. And I happen to have one of my shrink plastic charms that at the time I had added to this particular dangle, and also the little pom-pom balls. And so that kind of kicked off making these little charms. And I wanted to show you from in my last video when I made these pocket envelopes, how I used some of these that I made in that video, the covered paper clips, and then had the little charms dangling from there. And I had mentioned in that video how I love having these extras now, that as I'm working on projects, I've got these to choose from and I can use and they're ready. So we also worked on little charms and dangles of stickers, die cuts, and things that we had attached to the back of the cutting mat from the Dollar Tree. And so I wanted to kind of show you these again and then give you a heads up. I was showing how we can use the different things. I've gotten feedback on certain things, and I was going to also show you some of those things. So for example, on this one, I added a little bit of glue to the end of my letters, so those are on good, and that was from a great follower that I appreciate her comment there. You know, it's things like that that you work on and you don't even think about, and then it's like aha moments when someone finally helps you out and points you out some things, and I love that about our community, learning things. Then also I have the cute little die cuts here, or little cut aparts from the paper, and then I've added resin to each of those. And so I'm still learning, playing around with my resin. I hope some of you guys who have said you're getting resin, that hopefully by now you've gotten it and you've got to play with it and learn some things about it. And again, it's all we're learning about. So we've got the paper clips, we've got different ways we can tie or not tie on the top, and then also using little binder clips and using our jump rings that we can attach here and have little more of a dangle, more charms coming down. And so those are cute little things, and I'm looking forward to using those as well. Also made some shrink plastic charms, and in addition to the one right here that I had made several weeks before, but I did a video where I made all of these charms right here along with the ones here, and I'm going to show you that one in a moment. So actually, yes, okay, so all of these were shrink plastic and they have the resin on the front. I've attached the jump rings because we're going to make a project here in just a few moments using these little leftover pieces that I don't have. We may not use them all, we may save some for other things. But this was another little paper clip dangle that I've made with 3 of my shrink plastic charms. And if you'll remember, this one is the one that I put the gold glitter on the back. I've still got that on my list as I make some more to play around with the glitter. This particular one, I did not use resin, but used Glossy Accents. And as a heads up, I also have another medium that applies a gloss that I'm going to be playing with at some point. And then the little ghost. And this paper clip I have not shown on a video how to make. They are the felt stickers. They are not in this particular one. I think I found this particular sticker at the Dollar Tree, and it's 2-sided. So, well, the sticker's actually 1-sided. I took 2 pieces and they are stickers, so I stuck them together but added a little bit of glue in between and made that paper clip. And I had picked up these the other day at the Dollar General, and they have some cute possibilities too with all the pumpkins, ghosts, bats, and that sort of thing. So I'm always on the look for things like that that I can use as toppers for paper clips. But then also adding the little jump rings to make our charms. So that is one option there to be thinking about. The next type of paper clips that we looked at making were the laminated ones, and that was with using cutouts from different color decorative papers. This was a die cut, the kitty cat, if you remember. And I've got links to all the videos where I originally made these in the comment or in the description below. some paper things, and then little printable that I cut back and forth. And you may have noticed since I did that video, I did change out this bottom charm here. So this was one made from the long chain, and it works more like a dangle. It would work great on the back of a spine of a book or the front cover, that sort of thing. And then I also made these with the twine that come off of the covered paper clips. Of course, I'm using the paper clips here, but you can add binder clips, you can add any kind of rings, and use these kind of techniques and stuff. And of course, I've also got the little beads here with the pom-poms, but any other little letters or beads, anything. To me, the more you have, the better. I love the big chunky charms and that sort of thing to put on our projects. So that was the laminated ones, and I also had shown you at the time I had the one laminated that I added to a little bulb. We're going to use that hopefully in a few moments, and then just other little pieces that are laminated and ready to use, along with like the kitty cat. And I found that I really liked how to laminate these die cut things. So another thing to show you, we'll use this little cat. If you have something like little binder rings, you know, that you unclasp, we pull them apart. Sometimes we can use these on journals and books and stuff to bind the pages. In fact, I might be making one soon with a similar piece like this, but these are great that you can have little charms that have the little jump rings. This would also work really well if we doubled up. Let me show you. I knew I had these 3 jump rings already together. I had seen them in my kit, and I'm just going to show you here. Let's open this up and let's go back and let's add the cat to these 3 that I have. It's great to have these pliers. That's really a good tool to have if you're messing around or using these jump rings. We don't have to open it again because we can just string it on and close it. And imagine that, you know, your little cat or whatever your thing is hanging from your book, if we were using these to attach our book together, and then you have this hanging from the spine area. So that's a great thing to do and to be thinking about as we're making our charms and how we can use them. So I've moved these pieces over a little bit on the side because today I want to just finish up, or not, I don't want to say finish because you're never finished to me making all these little charms. They're so cute to have. But in the next video of our series with making cute little charms and stuff, I am going to make a book tassel with you because I do have some albums in mind. I don't know if I'll end up using this one on that, but what I wanted to show you today is using this clip. And I think this is called like a bulldog clip. And I have attached a larger jump ring to it. It is approximately a 1/2 inch in diameter. And you're going to see why I need to use that larger diameter, because I have got a jumble of Halloween colored ribbons from these that have the little half pom-poms on there, some plaid gingham, purple, black, and the silver. And what I want to do is I want to line these up and attach them here. I'm going to string them through this circle. Now I'm just going to do this one to show you right now, but you can usually, and actually I may need to make this, I think it just shifted right through there. So I pulled this apart just a little bit so that I can overlap them just a bit. And if you can see, that's going to kind of close off. That's the way I know to do it. I am not a professional jeweler, and I'm sure there's another way to do this, but sometimes you just kind of make it work, right? So I was taking the purple ribbon and I'm just going to loop it through. And I want to pull it to about halfway, you know, so the ends are pretty even. And I'm going to do that with each of these ribbons. And I think what I can do is I can do multiple ones at one time. And we're just looping them through. And you can see how it's getting kind of crowded in here with all the ribbons through the center of that ring. But like I had mentioned with some of the other things, to me, the chunkier, the better. Okay, and I said it had to try to make it even. To me, it also looks great when things are just all in different orders and stuff. Now, as I'm looking at this, I think I am going to trim off just a bit of this orange. It seems just a little bit longer than the rest. It doesn't have to be exact at all, and I usually don't want them to be exact. But to me, this makes a cute dangle here in and of itself. But we need to keep it from falling through. So what I have is this cording, and I am not 100% sure. It's like a twine. But what I want to do is I not only want to have some cording to tie around here, but I want enough to hang down because we're going to put some charms and stuff on this. So I want to have more than necessary, probably. I'm going to take this around close to that loop. And another thing you might want to do, I don't have a piece right here, is sometimes it's helpful to go ahead and attach this to something and hold it in place while you're working. I just don't have anything right here handy. I'm going to just tie a couple of knots. And so I've got that. I think I tied that almost backwards. Okay, so my knot, as I'm getting ready to pull it, I'm making sure everything is pulled down, and we're going to tie our knot, just a couple of knots through here, maybe 3. Now, I'm not going to trim off this side because it's hanging, and you may want to have multiple pieces hang down. You can work on that and tie multiple pieces. I'm just going to do the 2 for right now. So I did trim off a piece there. And so we've already got this. I'm going to also line it up. If you think about it, when your piece is attached to the book, we want this to, the way it's going to normally fit is your tie is going to be right about here. So if you want your charms to be visible, which I really do, I'm going to have more likelihood of putting them right here. Now, I've picked up a couple of other things that I wanted to show you. First of all, I have this little thing that I had gotten several years back off of a store or off of Amazon, and I'm not even sure if it's still available. They don't come with the little piece on it. You actually get it just like this, and I have used it before where I just kind of hooked it on. I've added this big piece here, the circle, and I think I wanted to put it near the top, and so I'm just going to string it on here and tie a knot, and I'm going to make it, I want it all the way up here at the top, and I'm going to tie it again in a knot, and we've still got this string hanging down. And you can kind of see, as you're going to be tying knots, the more, probably the longer string, the better, because that tying is taking up spots. So we have this little thing that's going to be hanging down. And I'm also going to take the little eyeball that we put on this little ring here, and I thought it might be fun, or actually on this pin, to kind of just put it right up here, whatever turned out to be the top ribbon. If I can poke that through, that silver is a little difficult. Close this up and kind of pull it down a little bit, and then the eyeball can hang down as well. We're looking for chunky and just really full. Another thing before we get into the charms, I had picked this up at the Dollar General recently. It's a wood garland kit, but the main reason I wanted it was for these beads. And so I'm going to pull out one of the orange beads, I think. it's just already painted. I don't have to worry with it. I'm going to take the other string opposite of the one that I attached the star on. And for this one, I'm just looping it on here. And now, depending on the size of this hole, I'm going to tie a knot. See, that's not going to hold it in place all the way, so I'm probably going to knot it again. And I'm going to attach the knot up closer. And I think that will hold it in place. So there we have the orange bead. So far we're kind of looking like this. We've got our eyeball that's going all over the place. And now let's look at how we can add some of these charms. And we don't have to use all of them. I love the little ghost. So what I think I'm going to do on this one, I'm just going to, let me check, let's see. Check our ring. And I am just going to tie this one onto this cord or this string in a knot. Because it's on the jump ring, I think it's still going to be dangly. I like the dangliness. I'm going to do a double knot. And just tie that on that string there. Oops, and there you can see. And let's go ahead and tie another one over here. I may put the little charm here, this one. Now I want to check. Okay, so I'm just going to hook that around. And let's tie a knot. And you can put these at any level that you want. Okay. Just a lot of little dangles and pieces and cuteness. Okay, and I think I'm going to finish it off with 2 beads on the bottom to kind of hold them down. So to kind of weight them down, I'm going to put the black on the end of this one. And I need to just make enough room that I can probably do at least 2 knots. And of course, you can just add, just have fun with it. Add as many charms and things. Oops. And there is our little book tassel with all the little charms on it, the ribbon, the dangles, and I will add this to a little book. It's not my I haven't made my Halloween one yet for this year, but I will put it on one of them and you can see how it would sit. This is my Edgar Allan Poe journal that I did last year. And here is the little book dangle that I made that goes with it. And I had added the Poe book when I made the book charms. And I'll put a link to that below because that is a great thing to add to your books, making little book charms. But I will show you now how I would just clip this on. Let me adjust my camera. Here is the spine of this book, and I would just go in, take my clip, and for this one, just attach it right there. Oops, I must have done it the opposite way. Let's flip that around. It's usually easy to fix. Flip that around, and then we have all of the little pieces. We have our charms and beads, the beautiful ribbon, and I just love the chunkiness of that. So that, you know, you can see it from the side. Sometimes you can also put the little dangles on the front of your books. That works as well, and that adds to the decorative piece of it. and you can just play around with your charms and that sort of thing. So I hope you have enjoyed today looking back through all of our different charms that we've made over time, and then a couple of new ways how you can add these to your projects and everything. I hope to be making a lot more things along with these Halloween cuties, and I hope you will join me as we get started on our next cute Halloween project.